Now wait, now let me be a bastard, and let me at least defend the women that are listening to this conversation.
Okay.
Because it's very easy for us to say this now until the sex gets involved. What's good, my people? It's your favorite man back again with another one. My name is Michael Shonariwo.
And I'm Murewa Ogunkoya.
And you are back on Menisms, ladies and gentlemen. We got another new episode here for you. Of course, first things first, subscribe to our audio channel, subscribe to the page, Menisms Podcast. We appreciate all of you guys that are listening, that are watching us. Thank you, because again, we have been consistent the last 2 years. And recently, we actually just got nominated for an award. So, congrats. Well done.
Yeah, we're doing the Lord's work.
The Lord is good. Make sure you check our page to see the award nomination. Thank you to the committee that nominated us as one of the best podcasts out there, which I believe we are. Shout out to everybody that got nominated. You know, everybody's doing their own bits, you know. So, shout out to everybody. But, I mean, before we go into the episode, what would you say has been some of your highest highs doing Menisms so far? And what do you think about the state of podcast now in Nigeria?
That's a pretty robust question.
I hope they're robust.
But let me see. What I'll say has been one of our highs is, mine is, I think one of my highlight episodes is still our merger with Loki Relatable the first time, right? When we had Valerie and
Tamara. Shout out to Tamara. Yeah.
I feel like even at the beginning, it was kind of like you were both uncomfortable with filming, and then like
I was a
few episodes in, like you could see that you had gotten more comfortable and you had gone to a point where you were just really trying to express yourself, which is important. You know, a lot of times guys just say something.
I didn't get uncomfortable. And then, I got like, you guys are like figuring it out. Like, what is?
Yes, we were.
Yeah, but the camera.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I was paranoid those first few episodes.
I think that was one of my highest highs when it comes to like our recordings.
I remember when they called me out on that. So like, you are on top. And you got color.
Yeah, so I think that was one of my high moments when it comes to like episodes that were recorded. I think also I'll still go back to our very first episode, right? I still think that first episode was, you know, it was the beginning of everything, really, right? And we had no idea what to expect. We had no idea what we were walking into. We were just going, you know. And if someone told me that we'll be here in 2 years,
I just remember us sizing each other up the first episode. It's just like somebody will say something, look at the other person. Somebody will say something, and it was just like this the whole time.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, who
we had no idea about our cues. We had no idea what the other person was capable of saying or not saying. You know, we just went right into it and we had no idea what to expect.
I need to go and rewatch it.
Yeah, and I think watching the episodes back really helped me understand how easy it is to, one, you know, both come together on a commonality, like, you know, we're both talking about something we're both in unison of, and just by virtue of, you know, being in the same headspace, you're just able to like vibe, you know. And that's actually how our entire podcast ended up like flowing. Like once we have guests on, once we start talking about things that they can relate with, everybody's just on the same page and we just get going like that, you know. So it was a good way to really see how, you know, people are able to relate, even though you're both coming from separate backgrounds. You have no idea about each other's histories, you know, but there was just this common ground that everybody could just really, you know, tap into, and then next thing, everything is just vibes. So yeah, I think for me, that's one of my
that was deep, man. That was very deep. Like, yeah, you know, I guess just go with the vibes. And
please don't kill me.
I'll say some of my high moments have been, I think, actually establishing a foundation as some of the first guys that have really push the male podcast here. And it's not to say that other men haven't done podcasts, but the way we did it was very unique compared to everybody else. I mean, even the way we just started trending out there with the fact that we were calling out women, but if you notice, we never called out women in like a negative aspect or
derogatory.
a derogatory way, like compared to a lot of other podcasts you see. We did it in a funny way that every girl's relating to us still. In the end, people will be watching Menisms, and a lot of you guys are still our fans today, which we appreciate you for. So it's been a high just seeing how a lot of women actually like say like, yo, I watch you guys. It's like, okay, you guys actually make sense. And it's like, okay, we're doing something right. Again, I'll say the fact that we actually, I think a high is, this has been like a small therapy, even though I still need therapy. Nigga needs to go to therapy. I feel like once you turn 30, I feel like therapy is needed in those 30s to just close some chapters in your 20 that me now, the adult to me is just like, it's time. Like, this has helped a lot. So that's been a high. Like, I get some things off my chest that I can say in a safe space with my guy, and then.
You just mentioned something that I swear can be a topic.
What?
What are the chapters in your life you feel should be closed now or should be closed in the next couple of years that, okay, I'm at this point now, this chapter of my life should be closed, and it could be that you've been trying to close it and, it's not been forthcoming, but that you're now at that stage where that chapter just needs to close. Because it's really interesting you said that, because I don't think a lot of us men generally, or even human beings, sit down to actually tell ourselves that certain chapters of our lives need to be closed and put in effort towards closing those chapters. Sometimes they either just fizzle out naturally or, we never even get to experience those chapters in the first place. No one ever, I'm obviously not saying no one, but very few people I've met would actually sit down to consciously say, I know this chapter of my life needs to close and I need to work towards it closing. Do you get what I'm saying?
I would say, wow, very deep question. What's going on? What's going on today? That's a good statement and question. For me, I've been trying to, not even trying. I feel like recently now I've just told myself I'll close it. I say the chapter I had in Lagos these last 2 years, I'm closing to start a new chapter of my life. Because for me, these last 2 years were really like about, the streets, Lagos, Sunday until last year, the parties, all that, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying I won't throw parties and shit, but the party aspect, like that young boy that was outside, like I feel like I could even feel it. Like these last 3 years, like everybody has seen what I did, and because we were outside. But then it's like now I feel like that chapter is closed, whereby I'm still going to be the fun me, still going to have a good time, but I'm transitioning and maturing to a new phase of life that a lot of things are going to be different. A lot of things I don't like doing anymore, and the perceptions I had of myself or the perceptions that I thought people had of me, I don't mind closing that chapter. Whatever you want to think of me now at this point is on you. But for me, it's like I'm closing that chapter of wanting to go back to that person, and I'm focusing on the new person I'm trying to be. You get what I'm saying? Because you have those stages in life where you look at yourself and for some years you were one type of way, then you grow. You understand? And unfortunately, depending on your area, a lot of people hold memory of the version of you that they interacted with the most. Yeah. So let's say there were a number of years you're with somebody now, or you were friends with somebody, they're around you then you move on to your next chapter. Then you guys don't now see each other for some time. Subconsciously, they're going to have that memory of you from then until they can start to learn and adapt with the new person you're becoming. And sometimes that's when some friendships, grow apart. Not that there's beef or anything. It's just I'm in a different space of life now. You might not be ready to grow with me, or you might be in a different phase of life that I don't want to be in. So I'll say for me, that's when I'm closing, and I've learned to embrace it, that when God wants to close a chapter in your life, you have to really learn to embrace it, because if you fight it back, you're just delaying yourself. Because
fair, that makes sense. Of course, it's not our topic yet, so I can't start,
no, you can say
fully
your opinion
elaborating.
now.
Yeah, but I think for me, one chapter of my life that I wouldn't even say it's a close and also an open, right? So I'm closing something to open something else, right? And I think that has to do with, closing a career path you've thought has been your career path for a decade more, right? And really embracing, pivoting into something entirely different, entirely in a new industry, entirely, just something that would give me more fulfillment. right? And that's where I am, because I won't lie that there's been times when, now this is one conditioning that, you know, you don't really get as you're growing. You have to kind of learn it in your adulthood. And that is especially, I think, in the Nigerian context. Because when you're in that phase of going to the uni to study something, once it's something you intend to practice, no one actually tells you there are times you should be open to not practicing that anymore and pivoting into something else completely. Because once you've learned that, so say, for example, I want to be a doctor and I go to school to become a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And so I get into this practice of being a doctor in whatever subcategory of doctor, being a doctor I want to be. And while, going through my career or my profession, I realize I'm not getting the fulfillment I want, right? I'm either not, it could either be that it's not giving me the financial gain that I'm expecting for the amount of work I'm doing, or it could be that, I'm only doing it because it's a means of livelihood, but I'm actually not enjoying it. Every day I go to work is dreadful, It could also be that it's exposing me to a network of people I'm not intending to be a part of. Say, for example, I was into nightlife now. Nightlife would expose you to a certain part of people, but you're doing it because you like parties, but you don't like the people that come with parties, right? And so it's exposing you to that. You don't like what it's exposing you to, but at the same time, you like the job. So, sometimes you have to find a balance. Yeah. So a lot of times you don't get to learn that one thing you have to embrace is that chapter would have to close and you have to open to a new one. Opening to a new one might mean going back to school. Might mean going back to learn a new trade, learn a new practice, learn new skills. And I say this because I think it's still in the Nigerian context, because I've not really experienced life outside of Nigeria. Well, I've experienced life, but not prolonged life like I have in Nigeria. And I think something that has to do with relearning a skill or going back to school at an older age, makes you feel like, so I'll still go back to school again, still learn this something. Yeah. I thought I'd left those years.
It's pride and ego that as
Agreed.
Nigerians that we have. Because I agree with you, whereby
Agreed.
even now, some days I'm just like, man, I have to actually go and re-educate myself on so much. Meanwhile, I always joke and say, master's holder. But,
meanwhile, there's so much. It could even be another master's degree that takes you to a different career path entirely, So, yeah. And that's where I am now. I'm now in that stage where I'm unpacking all that, and I'm just, cutting off whatever sentiment I had with, that profession, trying to open
feel like
doors
you have
to
to be. I feel like when you are closing a chapter of your life, in that next stage, you have to be delusional.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like
you literally have to sell those dreams to yourself.
Like even recently, I've had to sit down to myself and just really tell myself, like, bro, we're about to be delusional for the next few years, though, because you can't care. That's another thing too with closing chapters is you can't care. You can't care about people. You can't care because look how you said those little things about the ego and pride of I'm worried about. You're worrying about still people or others. In the end, is your own self-satisfaction. In the end, when you are doing the grind, nobody's with you in that grind period.
Nobody, literally nobody.
If you look back, it's I just look back some days and think of some things I've done, and it's you think of the days you were really by yourself, but obviously everybody celebrates with you when you're winning.
Yeah, you're established.
But then it's you still remember most of the time the days you're winning are not more than the days you're grinding. The days you're grinding outnumber the days you win by far. You can count your wins
for sure.
At some
because
point.
While you're winning, you're still grinding.
Bro, this is a very 30+ conversation. I can't lie to you, bro. Reflection, man. This adult. Shout out to all the parents out there, man. Just shout out to you because if I had a child right now, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's a lot to.
Guy, can you imagine just the day you had now? You go home, person go see daddy,
and at that point you have to remove whatever emotions, whatever baggage you brought from the day.
Your wife is now, or your babe is still coming to you saying, "Yo, he needs this, she needs this." By the way, in terms of us, hey God.
Well, I actually strongly believe that when you get to that stage, there's just going to be a mental shift. So, I mean, we can think about it now because we're still, unmarried. But I feel like when you get to that stage, there'll just be this natural mental shift where it will still be stressful, no doubt. But you just kind of know that there's just more responsibility.
No, I pray to God that obviously we're in positions that when that time comes, we could be ready. If I've been able to handle life, at least if I know my stress is for my family, I'm okay. If stress is for family, at the end of the day, I'm okay because I know it's my family and vice versa. Sure. But the way you have some outdoor stresses is I know when you get to that family stage, a lot of it is still going to go away because like you said, there's that mindset shift, and I'm sure we're starting to have it now where your priorities are changing, bro. Like the way certain priorities were just a year or two ago. I'll give a fuck.
So I think one thing I really appreciate about the life I've lived is that I give myself chances to experience life. You see, because one thing about the people who choose to experience life later at the detriment of either the relationships they have, the families they have, is that they almost never give themselves chances to experience life beforehand. And so it's when you have kids and this that you're trying to do that boys trip, which we all know what would entail if you go on a boys trip, It's also where you're trying to, and it's true, nothing wrong with people who go on boys trips, when they're married and stuff like that, but we all know what they usually entail. And, there's more to lose now when you have a family than when you're
I guess you're saying there's...
No, but it's the truth. There's always more to lose.
No, because I don't want to put every man in trouble now, saying every boys trip now as an adult when you have kids, there's trouble involved.
No, I mean, people that are watching stuff like this are exposed to TV.
Of course. And so there's some, I'll say, like, obviously depends on you guys too. There's some boys trip that you go just go guy. Like, I can't.
No, I'm not saying that things would happen. I'm saying that there's just more to lose.
Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying.
As a married guy now, a woman is approaching me. I'm married. I'm on my own.
Blood of Jesus.
A woman is approaching me saying, "Oh, I see you and your boys are having fun." And like that. See now, if I'm in my single days, I would explore that. I'll be like, okay, let's.
Why don't you come and join us even?
Exactly. But now there's more to lose, right? Part of you still want, because part of the boys trip is the experience, and so a part of you wants to see how far that goes.
Yo, you know what's funny? It's like, I remember when I was on tour in Yankee last year, right? And I'll go out to some spots, and then some OGs would take me out. And shout out to all you guys here. And when we'll go out, you'll see the dynamic that's different, because me, I'm still in my young self. Like, I can go out. Oh, who's that girl there? Some girls like, hi, no, come
and join us.
And you will see all them OGs. Like, you have some that will party with you. Then you have some
that they just sit and watch.
Their enjoyment is they're just in the presence and enjoy.
Exactly.
They can look, but they can't touch.
Nothing.
So anything they go, hi, you just see them.
Don't fucking kill me.
I think that's how I'm going to be. Like, let's say, like, when I'm like married and shit, like, I could still go out.
Oh, yeah,
I'll go out with my wife. But let's say it's just a guy. He got smile like these young girls. Like, oh my God, I like what you have. Thank you.
It's always a very cordial.
No, it happens.
So and you see, and that's what I meant. So because I don't want to be in the position where I'm now beginning to experience those things when I have more to lose.
Yeah.
I'd rather just of course, still live life within the capacity. It's not everything you can do when you're single, but do the best you can, do the most you can. So that those things are not thrown in your face like, oh my God, I want to experience
I get what you, because I was thinking about it, like, I was wild in my 20s, but obviously safely wild, not like crazy wild. Just I still had like conscience and I still had sense.
Of course.
But like you said, there are a lot of things I did then that I'm happy, like, I don't need to think about now. Like, the kind of things I want to do now are still fun things, but on a different level. You get what I'm saying? Because now money is involved. Like, your 20s, when you take those risks, that there's no money. So I took every risk. I enjoyed it. I traveled with certain risks. Now, like, for example, spontaneous traveling now. Nobody's saying you won't do spontaneous traveling as an adult, but it's planned spontaneous traveling compared to then when I'm just saying, like, wake it up today, we're going to Spain.
And another thing is that I would hear a lot of guys say, but I can't experience a lot of things because at that time I didn't have money, now I have money. The truth is, part of being mature, being an adult, is understanding that once you've involved other people in your life now, say your wife, your kids, whatever, you just have, most times that's even when you're making more money, right? And you just have to embrace the fact that the things you could do when you were single, you can't do anymore. Like, no matter the more money you suddenly have, because people would now, a lot of guys, even women, just generally adults, will still want to do the experimenting they were doing when they were single because they now have the money to do the experimenting, right? And so you find a lot of guys or
but what
women
are you really experimenting?
Just again, maybe, like the thrill of I want to see if I can get that girl. Now that I have money, let me drive my flashy car next to her and wind down. Let me see if now she's gonna.
Because you couldn't get it before.
So you see, and to me, it's like I understand what you're saying, but you have to draw the line. You have to know that these are things you can't experience anymore because there's more involved.
I can't imagine. I'm sorry, because even when my Mercedes and shit comes in, right? Like there's a certain Mercedes truck I want. So when that one comes in, I promise you, the last fucking thing on my mind is to drive down VI or Ikoyi to just see babe and say, yeah, you like the car, baby? Because I've already gotten girls my whole life, you understand? So if anything, I know the game in terms of if you want me for my car, that's a price tag. That means, I mean, know what? You here for the thrill. Don't get me wrong. I know the bonuses of having a nice car.
Of course, yeah,
I know the bonuses. But again, it's still material that at this age, I know how to handle. Like at that age now, like you say, if you're an OG or something now, you know how to handle that girl that you know, okay, this one's just
or
for
even
play.
even your mind won't just even be thinking, like you said, it won't be thinking in that direction because you've already experienced those things in your younger days with having a lot less to lose, right? As opposed to now, there's so much more at stake. Imagine the embarrassment of, you stop and wind down, say something, then the person happens to be your wife's friend's younger sister. Those kind of way. Yeah, you see what I'm saying now?
That was very specific. your wife's friend's younger sister.
And so at that point now, how do you explain yourself? You've now put it so, but I mean,
let
nonetheless,
me something actually just like that's happened to me. Not that it was anything, and it's like I said, thank God. I know so I went to a function. I had a function for my university.
Yeah.
My university in UK, they had a function here in Nigeria. I went, spoke, and also a lot of people recognized me from content and all, but they didn't know I went to Loughborough. Okay. So I'm coming down. So one girl that's taller than me, she's like maybe 5'11", 6, so beautiful girl and all that. But I'm not like paying attention to her in that way. I'm just like you can just tell she stands out because she even looked young and all, but it's like she looked like a young girl that's in her 20s or some shit, right?
Okay.
So by the time we're all talking, networking, somebody comes up to me, like, hi, excuse me, like, I love your content and everything, like, I watch your stuff, and I'm like, okay. And then she now tells me, oh, by the way, you know my cousin. He now says the cousin. I said, oh, that's my boy. That's my boy and all that. Okay, you're his younger cousin. Nice to meet you and all that. So she said she wanted advice on events and all that, and I just gave her some advice how to do events and all. I said, oh, you're doing this at this age already, like, mad, like, how old are you and all that? Do you know how this girl said?
How old?
18. And she looked like she was 23, 24.
Right. Yeah.
And you see why I said, like, what you're saying now is a lot of guys now, like, if you didn't live that life, I'm not saying some guys can't too, because you didn't have to live that life to understand it. But to your point, if you've not experienced certain things in your 20s, with women, with going out, even there's a certain point in your 20s, you start to look at girls young. Like, it's like when you start reaching that 24, 25, the girls that are 20 are a bit too young still.
Yeah, and you're looking at like...
Because you might say that's a 5-year gap. Because it's different. There's a difference between 25, 30 to 25, 20.
Yeah, of course.
20 is still young, you get what I'm saying? But even then, you start to experience those things younger. You're like, okay, I've been through this. Maybe it's too young or something. Yeah. Even if she was, that's too much trouble. So at this age now, it's like, even if a young girl comes to you and she even says, let's leave that one. Let's say a girl even says she was 21. It's like, it's still too much. There's a lot that comes with it. Like, exactly. Nah.
As opposed to guys who are actively looking around for 21-year-olds because they believe they are more gullible, more. So you see, it's an entirely different balance, right? There's the people who are going out looking actually for the ones who are much younger, right? And then there's the ones who's like, nah, please don't. There's just
I can't.
You have your whole life ahead of you. Please don't do
it. I can't, man. Like I actively was looking for women because there was a maturity I was looking for.
Of course, instinctively as a man, you would be drawn towards looking for the opposite sex. It's instinctively, right? So I think basically the summary of this is, because we talk about this, we have questions. So
okay, fair.
So basically the summary of this is understand like the stages of life you're in and know when to cut things off, shut things out, move to the next stage of life without holding on to these aspects of life that you think should be tagged along with you for the rest of your life. No.
Go to Jesus. The Lord is the only person that can release you from them.
My
Say
goodness,
amen.
don't kill me,
Amen.
please.
I know they lie. Now God will remove everything. Amen.
All right. So we're going to the next segment. And second segment, today we're going to be having experiences. And we have some here we're going to read out. Okay, so I'll start with this one. This says, Big T. Hey, Menisms pod. Stumbled upon your pod a while back and I've been glued. Both of you are amazing. Thank you very much. I haven't been in a relationship in 6 years and I'm pushing 25. You know what? We're going to pause first. Let's take a pause.
That's not it.
I'm pushing 25. No judgments, but we're just doing our quick math here. I'm pushing 25 and I haven't been in a relationship in 6 years means you were in a relationship when you were 19.
What do you know? Anyways.
and you say pushing 25 like you've been to...
I thought she was about to say I'm pushing 40 or something. Like,
Anyways,
bro.
let's get to it. Okay, so last relationship was when you were 19. All right. Met a man early this year, and I've completely been swayed by him. I genuinely haven't felt this way in years. We aren't official yet, and that irks me all the time because the idea of sleeping with him when I can't boldly call him mine annoys me. Fair enough.
Fair.
Honestly, he assures me all the time he needs a bit of time to fully decide because he ended a toxic relationship 2 years ago. Although I understand, but I don't want to keep giving all of me if he's still confused. We talk all day, every day for hours over the phone, and we're texting all through the day. I genuinely believe I'm the only babe he gives his time to because he's a white-collar worker and he's also a responsible guy. I love attention, and he has never made me complain of not getting enough. Gosh, he eats and performs all the time. Okay, it's not information I thought we needed to hear, but fair enough.
Wait, is she actually... Wait, I just... Sorry. What?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
We don't know.
I'm processing it, so I'll let it go. Gosh, he eats and performs all the time. Again, not information I thought we needed to hear, but that's fine. I'm obsessed with this handsome man. Do you think I should ghost him and block him everywhere till he realizes he also can't do without me? Lol. Angel emoji. Okay. So first of all, your toxic, intrusive thoughts are creeping in. All right, shut them out. That's the first thing. Don't try to be hard to get to see if the guy sees your value. No. Again, I won't advise that. He would just see it as, depending on the kind of guy, if that happened to me, I would just see it as, that's a bit childish. If you try to block me everywhere to see if I see the value, I'm just like, okay. But we'll go back to the earlier part of the message, which was that she gets a lot of attention from him. But the main crux of the issue of the situation here is that he's not making it official.
Bro, that girl, let me just say it. Sorry, all this story is too much, man. Homegirl, look, he ain't ready to wife you, and it's not going to happen anytime soon. I'm sorry to break it to you. I had to be that big brother and just be honest with you. I'm sorry. He's not that he's a bad guy. He's not a bad guy, but if a man really wants you,
he would
every
have
problem, every situation before is gone out the window. It's not to say he doesn't like you. It's not to say he couldn't potentially see it, but that man is not going to change that decision anytime soon because he's eating it. That's the whole point. I'm doing and performing so well. You ain't going nowhere, sweetheart. You think you are the only one he's texting? He could be. Again, let me not put my brother in trouble there because I'm sure he's doing his bit and all that. But when a man really wants you, he would make the effort. I have had to even admit that myself, that there were a lot of girls that I was not just honest with in terms of, it's not like I didn't like them. I did like them. But honestly, I wasn't ready. And then, again, you yourself just know as a guy, when you're ready, you cancel everything. I'm sorry. I now see why girls get frustrated.
So I was going to say that, right? I was going to say that, he's given the reason of, coming out of a toxic relationship, which is also fair. Let's not discredit his experiences, right? But like you just mentioned, it's two things. If he's not going to be ready, if he's not ready now, he's not going to be ready in time. So you're right? And I say this because the things he needs to be ready are all on the table. They're already experiencing everything they can experience in a relationship, apart from being official, right? And the reason he hasn't done that official bit could be several things. It could be that he still doesn't trust you enough. In which case, if he doesn't trust you now, he's not going to suddenly trust you. There's no
amount of experiences you can do that now say, I trust you more.
Yeah, there's hardly anything new that's going to happen that will change that, right? Also, it could be that it's outside factors. It could be that the trauma from his previous relationship cannot just allow him to move forward. In which case, he's seeing things with you that is not allowing him that full commitment. You can like someone, you can vibe, you can do everything. But if you're seeing things in the person that once you take it to the stage of full commitment, this person can potentially take me back to that trauma.
Well, she's actually low-key showed a bit of it because this whole toxic thing about, should I block him? Okay. Because if a girl, there's certain girls that they don't even need to do too much to apply that pressure. They don't need to, if they generally know, this guy likes me, but he needs his time. There's some girls that let you be. Without this whole toxic thing and all that. If you're already saying you're ready to do this now, Imagine when you're in a relationship that the boy is actually yours now. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying you two, you're a bad person, madam. But you just said a point that from the guy's perspective, he probably sees way more than us. That he's probably like,
Yeah, and I'll tell you this for a fact. A lot of us guys we can like you to the point of the really like you, borderline want to date you officially.
Oh my god!
But then we can definitely get to that point of the.
There's some girls we would have hated each other if we dated. Like we had fun together. The sex was mad, but if you cross that boundary,
oh my days!
Oh hell!
And sometimes when you try to explain it to them, they can't understand. Like to them, you're just not serious, and I'm like. I promise you, if we cross this line and become these people, we're going to hit each other.
We talk every day. We talk almost every day.
Yeah.
Fair enough. When we at least see each other, we enjoy each other's company.
Yep.
And if you've noticed, even when we sleep, fine, it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. You sometimes tell me about your problems. I sometimes tell you about my problems.
Yep.
But notice, it is when we want to do these things, we do them.
Yep.
No obligation, gives us the freedom to still.
That freedom.
Oh, my brother. See. Don't worry. I'm ready for this. I know you can relate. I'm ready for you to talk. But it's like, please, just lay up after. But it's like, we know the freedom we both have. Notice how I didn't say man has. You too, sweetheart. You can run off with another man if you want to. Now, if you like, say I'm not serious. But
God bless you.
But notice
the day you don't text me when we don't talk every day. Nobody's going to shout. Nobody's going to say anything. She's like, oh, you had a long day? Oh, that's fine. That's cool. I had a long day as well. I kind of even slept off, just like, oh, yeah, it's fine. But you see, all of these only work because the dynamic of the freedom exists. The minute obligation comes into play, like you said, I know people that I could have dated, but I just knew, I could see it. And in fact, in a lot of times, it's in the earlier stages of you guys like talking. They will show you the signs of how they would be when obligation comes in. They will show you how they will be when you're not that free anymore. They give you some signs. It could be maybe a little argument, and the argument could come from maybe their emotions towards you or your emotions towards them. It could be that maybe they see you talking to another girl, and there's just this instinctive reaction they have. They didn't plan it, but you've seen it that you're just like,
bro. Let me tell you, one of my biggest fucking red flags to some girls, and it's again not that they're bad people, but that little sign right there, I know you can't handle me. You see that little jealousy shit. When we're not dating, like you see me out in a party or something, another girl's coming to hug me and we're talking. Meanwhile, I've probably known this girl for 10 damn years. Where did you come from?
Right.
We've known each other not even up to 3 months, 4 months.
And you're already
because you see me hugging now, you're already saying, who's that girl? You're giving me attitude. Already is lock off.
And meanwhile, this is someone you're vibing with. What? You guys have the best time. You guys go out together. You guys do. But you've seen that sign already. And you just know that, I'm not about to open a door into this. Like, I'm not.
And my own is, if I've not, again, this is the rule I always tell some women. If I don't do it to you, why would you do it to me? In terms of, if I see another man talking to you, I can't do anything.
Because you haven't given the grounds. You haven't laid the rules to make it clear that there's any exclusivity, nothing.
The only thing I can do is just flirt with you again when I see you, and even those joke with it saying that, boy, you think girls at Sunday at Ilashe that I was talking to, you think they won't come and another man they talk to them? I'm seeing them.
Oh, and actually, the way we break the ice is, I've seen you, hot girl.
Bro, me that I remember there was one I was talking to seriously, like we were talking seriously and all that, but I still they do my thing, you do your thing. Oh, my bro, Sunday at Ilashe. Okay, you chill with your girls, have a good time. Don't worry, I'll catch you. Oh, see, as I'm walking around, moving back and forth, I walk slowly. I just see the guy, one guy from Yankee now. Obviously, is that December? Does they give her lyrics? Does they give her shades? Because I'm like, I know this playbook. Like, the fuck is this? And then you two see how does all teeth, all 32 like this. Yeah, I'm just like, all right, but guess what? I can't say anything.
Yeah, you can't.
Now imagine, and that's why I say some girls don't think about. Imagine if I was doing what you do to me. Imagine if I pulled up on you right there and say, "Yo, who's this nigga you're talking to?"
And then you're not there like, hold on, when do we become this? I need my freedom.
They never think of that. Are you ready to handle? Oh yeah, imagine Muriwa now. If imagine you now and a babe now, and one babe sees a friend from uni, but you see the way he's like, "Hey, my girl, how you been?" and all that. You just go and put up and say, "Yo, what's this?" They're not ready for that conversation.
But you see, and they'll most likely also throw this question of, okay, so if you know that you can't date her, why still keep her along? Now, right? I'll be very honest. In a lot of cases, it's a selfish reason. And selfish reason being that we enjoy the company. We actually like this person. Like we like you as a person, right? We like everything that comes with you. In fact, in a lot of cases, you bring a lot of peace. In a lot of cases, right? You bring a lot of peace. In fact, this is all a lot of it. So in fact, the peace that you bring stems from the freedom we both have. Right.
Repeat. It. Oh.
Yeah, the peace that
One more time.
The peace that you bring stems from the freedom we both have.
Thank you.
And a lot of times, actually, we come back to that safe space because we know more than anybody else we're talking to, you're the freest we are with, while still not feeling that obligation.
And you still want to go and ruin it over what?
And to be honest, though, I also get it that they want more because they like you more than just the peace that you both have.
But would you not rather me be honest with you as a man saying, baby girl, I'm not ready right now? If a man, I think sometimes girls think it's just an excuse. Don't get me wrong, there are the guys that just use it as an excuse to play you.
Of course, yes.
But there are actually a number of guys like, I genuinely am not ready.
And the thing is that when they put, throw the question at you, a lot of times you're put in this position where you're thinking, should I just give it a shot? Should I just, because I know I like this girl a lot. Should I just, you see, when you start to have to tell yourself, should I just?
You ain't ready.
It means the emotion, they're not there. You're going to be putting in too much effort to make up for the emotions you're lacking.
Because let me tell you right now, when a man really like you, you can't even control what you are doing.
See, you can't
control
let me tell you,
it.
bro, this thing you've said now, right? I mean, let's not very small, but this thing you've said now, I tell people this. And everyone I was talking to at the time, I would say the same thing. I said, it's not as if I don't like you. I like you. But it has to come to me. Like, I have to not be able to breathe without you to know that I'm there, right? If I have to tell myself, I like her, I should date her, then I'm sorry, it's not there yet. But if I'm sleeping at night and I'm just like, I can't really sleep, I'm just thinking, I wonder if this girl is sleeping. I really want to wake her up.
Your mind will not just stop saying her name or her image will just be flashing your head.
In fact, if things are still making sense, then you're not there. That's all I can say. If things are still making sense to you, that is, you know how much you like her, everything is still logical.
Now let me be a bastard, and let me at least defend the women that are listening to this conversation.
Okay.
Because it's very easy for us to say this now until the sex gets involved. Because it goes two ways now. With the sex now, depending on if it was good or not for some women, if there was good, that lady is saying, fuck it, this nigga mine.
Yes, always.
To guys, I like you more, or, hey, that emotion of, because don't forget, any guy, whether you want to admit it or not, this is true. The way you are chasing her, the way you felt about her before you had sex and busted that nut, always changes.
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
Sometimes it stays the same, but
sometimes
that excitement and that chase initially before you do,
of course,
no good day, which is where the real test comes for a lot of guys to see if I really like this babe. The first time you hook up is really the first test to see, do I like her? And it's not to say that we're saying, every girl you had to sleep with or all that, you understand? Because there's some girls that you were not even you had girls that you're like, I can't even sleep with you.
Like, there's no
unless we were serious, I can't sleep with you.
There's no way it's even going to get in that direction at all. Like, there's no point. There's just no point.
So it's like, we also have to look at that direction saying, are we also the ones, do we have to take accountability more because we know how a lot of us change after you link up the first time?
Don't forget that when I started this, I said it's a selfish reason. That was the very first opening into this. So the selfish reason also branches into that, right? Because we know that you see, a lot of times we know the women want more. We also know we can't really give more immediately. But at the same time, she's also, you see, another thing is that as much as we want to say we know they want more, they also come with oh no, I'm good. I'm also not looking for anything serious. I like where this is. They even say, I like where this is. We're just okay with each other. There's no... Now, even though you guys have had sex, right? You see, it's still not, especially when it's someone you're vibing with, it's not in the air that, okay, now that there's sex, we can't even talk about anything again. Everything is now like dead. You guys still have good energy, still good vibes, right? The only difference now is where the dynamic now starts trailing to from that point. From that point, she's now already thinking, okay, I really like this guy. If you guys keep spending more time together, maybe more consistent sex, she's like, okay, I really, really like this guy. You, on the other hand, is like, okay, I like this girl. But there's just, let me still see her. I can't, it's still too early for me to even know what's going on. Like, the energy is good, we're good people when we're together, but I've just seen some things that if I say I should be her boyfriend, she'll stop being like this. You know,
And
this will change.
It's so bad. Like, I had one girl before that when we met, we vibed, like we were vibing, you understand? Not like everything, but it was like we were vibing, we were enjoying it. Like, we're attracted to each other, everything's good, right? And then as we chilled the rest of the day, like we ended up chilling the whole day because we were at a function. Then eventually we chilled together, went out together that same night, everything was good. We ended up talking for like the next day or two. So the second day, she tells me to pull up. Like the second day, he tells me to pull up. Obviously, spend the night. Bam. Then after that, I actually was like, my feeling then was just like, okay, that was it was a bit quick, obviously, because we met just 3 days ago. Though.
Right.
But I actually liked it. Like, I want to vibe with the girl. Let me see more of this girl. Like, I know I'm single, but let me see more. And for her, it was the same way. But then I saw how it changed quick because, like, let's say we were talking, then maybe that was like a Wednesday. So let's say maybe it was a Sunday, that was the event. Tuesday or Wednesday we now saw. Then by Friday, Saturday, we've talked in those 2 days. Then the weekend comes and maybe I'm busy during the weekend or something. And then from that, like Saturday, Sunday, it's, so you're not going to be answering my phone calls now? You're not going to be doing this now? Is this what we're doing? And you know when girls start masking it as a joke, when you now say, oh, no, it's been this, hello, nobody's, it's
never, ever a joke.
But you see how already that kind of, and that's why I said, like, I want to speak for guys because this is what some of the shit we go through that in our head we're like, okay, what is this? You were not doing this before we hooked up. Oh. You didn't even care when I replied. I could reply 3 days later, you were okay.
Okay, so so see, because I've tried to have this conversation with a number of women, right? And in when I get to this bridge, they always say things like, well, yeah, it's natural, you know, my emotions are stronger now, so I want to call you every day. Okay, fair enough, right? Let's leave that fair enough.
They're not invalidated.
But do you also, in that headspace, think that maybe as you were having a shift, I was still the same person? I was still in the same headspace of, okay, we still have the same energy. We talk twice a week. I'm going to keep it at twice a week. Because now, somebody likes somebody more than the other person. Again, nothing wrong with that. But you've now shifted the paradigm from twice a week to every single day.
We talk twice a week.
Yeah, you've now shifted it from twice a week to every other day to every day. And then now it translates to you as, I'm not picking your calls, or I'm not calling often. Whereas I wasn't even calling often in the first place.
What was I doing? Like, and that's why I say some ladies need to understand. Compare the relationship before the sex. If that man is doing less,
yeah.
If he's doing the same, maybe some more, because obviously him too, he's not stupid, he knows.
Yeah.
Then you can't pressure him to now just wife you. Like, I'm sorry, like that's just that's just me, and it's because this is also vice versa. Like,
of course,
if a girl now sleeps with you, a guy can't go and force like, yeah, my girlfriend from today, because she has that freedom and liberty to do what she likes. But more times than not, it's the situation that the girl now is in her. I don't want to say in her feelings, is a lot more emotional about the situation, because sex is an emotional thing. It's not like we don't feel it, but a lot of guys, let's be real, most times you can and be like, I'm good.
I've said this scenario several times that you can't really compare sexual interaction between a guy and a woman, because already for a guy it doesn't have to be connected to emotions.
Yeah.
Which is why a guy can easily pay for it, have it, and move on, right?
And move on. Like,
as opposed to women need to get to connect with you.
And even a woman that is doing that says, even when they say women can do it, which they can, there are a lot of girls that can do it and don't give a fuck about you too. But more times on average.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Because it takes a very strong-minded girl to even get to that point of saying, I don't give a fuck. Because women are more emotional. So the fact that she's able to control that emotion, oh, trust me, you understand. But guys, naturally, is just like...
Exactly. So...
if anything... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, so if you're going to compare both, naturally, the woman will always walk away with a little more emotion than the guy when they have sex. Right?
Yeah.
And so that's where all that comes from. And... you know, not saying that there are no guys who like, and then the girl is also saying, don't like me. But like we said, on average, it's more the girl saying, so what are we? In fact, that's why the whole so what are we is such a thing, right? And so, you know, it's very difficult for you to say that, yeah, things will end up being the same, you know, for both parties, because the woman will start might start liking the guy more.
Do you feel like sex ended some friendships for you with women? Not ended as
for sure.
Not ended that you guys had a fight or anything, but it's like you
for
just drifted apart where
for sure. Because I mean, I really don't want to say that they wanted more all the time, but to be honest, that's what it was, right? And I knew then that again, it was still my selfish. In fact, both are selfish games, because they wanted more than friendship. I wanted, to experience this person maybe a little more than a friend, and boom, we're now in this place where conflicts of interest. Okay, I want to go back to friendship because, okay, well, we've crossed that line now. I've seen that, okay, maybe we shouldn't have done that. We just go back, And she is now like, okay, no, I want to do that some more. And I'm like, And then she's not even thinking more in the direction of, okay, I mean, I don't want to put anything in your head, but, it won't be a bad idea if we lean in this direction. And I was like, I'm even thinking that was even a mistake and should never even happen again, right? Not because it was any bad experience per se, but I've already seen that I can't give you what you most likely would want from this whole arrangement. Like, so that I'm not even going to feed into it at all. I'm not going to. Some guys, right, will still keep seeing her because they're gaining more. But I'm already thinking, no, I already know what more is going to do here. More is going to feed into this. It's going to make you think there's some hope. I don't want to create any hope. I'm canceling it from the beginning. There are some that, I actually like the person. Sex is actually amazing. We actually vibe. There's a piece that comes with it. You would think that the friendship can coexist with that little interaction, but it doesn't. Something always changes. Somebody somewhere always either has more feelings than the other person, or the reality that, you can be like that with somebody else hits them or hits you. Let me give an example. Let's say you have this friend, girlfriend that you guys cross the line, you're now like having sex and everything, and one day you go out and then you see her with another guy, maybe hugging him the same way she hugs you, and instantly you start playing everything. You're like, wait, she's hugging him like this. Does it also mean that she's like that with him?
Oh hell no, not me. Hell no.
So a lot of people have that experience, right? And so
once we're in the past, once we cross that bit, what is it? You're not my girlfriend.
But a lot of guys will look at you and be like, oh, so are you also like that with him? I was like, a lot of guys don't know how to.
Unless you are actively, like, don't get me wrong, I've done that maybe when we're actively talking or seeing.
Right.
Like, even me, I've had my days where we both single doing our stuff, but maybe I see you outside with another nigga.
And it's to pay you small.
I was like,
we've all been there. We've all been there.
Say less. I'm going to do. And when you see me do my own, don't say shit. Don't say shit. All right. Oh.
So yeah, but I would say that, yeah, it's definitely ruined a lot of friendships because you can't go back to it. Like, you can't. I mean, some friendships still remained, right? Some friendships still rode strong. I'm actually even surprised that they did, right? Some friendships rode strong. In fact, they would even still come to me for boyfriend advice which is fair. I'm open to it. I'll give you the advice. You know what? I actually embrace it because that makes me feel like, okay, you've brought me back in this zone. I don't have to do all the work. You don't, wow. You've brought me back in this. We can now be friends again. Cool. Because I was not even trying to get more. I was just worried that you would want more. But now that you're getting boyfriend advice from me, I'm happy. Because now it means that we're back to being friends again. You can't wake up and be like, yeah, you can't tell me you didn't know. I'm like, what do you mean I didn't know? You were talking to me about some other guy just recently. So obviously we're friends now. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So some friendships still lasted.
I'll say for me is, unless emotions got involved, then most time we're still cool. Like, because some of the ones, not all, but some of the ones. That's what, like, well, some of them, like, for me, because like I said, for me, like, having sex there has to be there has to be an attraction, not just the physical attraction, but even the connection and all. And that's why I said there's some girls that once the sex was getting involved and all, like, emotions got high to a point that, the relationship is not going to be the same after. In terms of, yeah, we didn't fully date and all, but we liked each other and spent time together, that it was very intimate, that now it's like, unless we're like actively trying to see maybe we can get back together, that relationship is not the same. Like, now I won't be texting you and calling you like, hey, how are you? But it's still love. Like, if we saw each other outside, it's like, yo, how you been? You good? Can comment on my stuff, social media, no, but we're not talking. Then there's some that it was like, maybe there was a fling or phase, depending on the relationship. There's only one, like, there's one girl that, even that, we don't even, like, because of respect and boundaries and all that, like, we're not talking and all that every day, but it's love forever because, like, that's my guy. You get what I'm saying? But then we had to create boundaries based off her relationship, my relationship, and, keep it at that. But it's because there was actually a friendship that has been built over time. And then it's one of those ones that we knew we couldn't date. Like, it wouldn't work. But as guys, it's like, wow, cool. But there's boundary, you understand? So, yeah. But really and truly, it's hard. Like, I don't even really see. That's why I said for me, like, I'm picky. I was picky, like, when it came to sex, like, that's why I said there are a lot of girls I'm friends with, because even if there was maybe a time we were attracted to each other, or I ain't gonna lie to you, there's been situations. There's been some situations. I know, and I'm sure you can say the same too.
Yeah.
But I know I wouldn't be I don't want to be the one that crossed the line, because sometimes it's you that has the ball in your court as the guy. Sometimes the girl might be feeling you, and she might like just leave the door open a little bit. Not that she's pushing it to leave the door open, like, all right, let's see if you as a man, you go do them. And if you do, you score. But it's just like, nah.
Yeah, because
let me not.
Yeah, because opening that door is a whole.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you. I do conflict resolution in my head sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. There have been a lot of stupid. There's been some stupid decisions. Right. I will not lie, but there's times I just think, can you handle this girl's stress? If you've seen it. Like, there's some girls, you've seen the signs, can I handle it? And then it's funny enough, relating to what we talked about from the beginning, the experiences. Because I had the experiences in my early 20s where, like I said, when I was wilding, I had a lot of experiences that it was like a lot of time wasted now. Yeah. And when I say time wasted, it's like, you're happy you did it then, because God forbid me do it now. So those decisions and experiences now at this age now, like before settling down, were like, I could already start to process elimination some girls and all that. Some niggas just don't care, and some niggas are better than me, because like I say, there's some niggas that don't give a fuck. Like, and they will not even show you. That's why I tell some girls too, start, even if you're single, and you're hooking up with a guy, let that guy at least like you as a person. Because some of you girls, this is what I actually don't like, I see on social media. Some of you girls be hooking up with niggas that don't like you at all. They are physically attracted to you, but they don't like you at all. Then when they end up treating you like shit, you go and cast and attack every single man. Men are this, men are this. The nigga himself didn't like you. That's why I said, at least I have to like you. If I don't like you, I'm sorry, I can't even touch you.
Yeah.
But we can get into it. Anyways.
I mean, the summary of it is, my personal advice to you is, throw the heavy question at him, especially if you're at the stage where you really want definition on what you guys have. Throw the heavy question at him. Let it be like an ultimatum, like, okay, you know what, I need to know what direction I'm going, because you're not getting any younger, and you need to plan your life relationship wise. Ask him, okay, what are your intentions? Do you want to do this? Do you want to go further? Do we end this? In a lot of cases, he'll tell you not to end it. He'll tell you, no, he's still working things out. Give him some more time. But the truth is, except you're willing to continue to wait on his time as opposed to yours, you're never really going to get any solution from this. And so when you think you're ready, throw him the heavy question. Let him know that, look, you've given him enough time. You think 2 years or whatever amount of years is enough. And this nigga said 2 years. And you can't keep moving on without some definition. And so if he's not ready, then you just have to exit the scene. Until you do that, you're going to keep being in this, this loop of, I like you. We're not sure what we are, but we're having a good time. Because it feels comfortable. It really does, right? So, but if you're someone who wants more from that, until you throw in the hard question, you're going to keep going around that loop. So
I disagree to an extent, just in terms of asking the hard question. I say more women should control the situation. And what that means is, it's okay. So it's not that I disagree that, oh, you're wrong or anything. It's just, there's an approach I'll take to it that's still very similar to what you mean asking the hard questions, in terms of taking control of the situation, where I feel if women now, like, again, you also know what you want in situations, right? And you have the decision, like I say, to speed it up or slow it down. When I say speed it up, is if you guys are hanging out, chilling, getting comfortable with each other, you end up hooking up with each other, you have that decision to make that happen. If you want to take things slow and all that, you have the decision, because it's the man that's chasing. But then let's say it happens, whatever time it happens. Yeah. Yes, you have. That's why I say you control the situation, because, again, look how we said it. It's the girl that can push the guy away by immediately asking those questions or changing. if you keep your vibe now, it's like sometimes don't let them know your cards. Like, let's say you like me more now or something, you like the guy more. Don't throw all the emotion at him like that until he shows you that he's created a safe space for that. You get what I'm saying? Because I feel like some girls just throw out the emotions without actually knowing the guys. Like, it's similar to, as I said, it's similar to what you said. It's like, you are not knowing this guy's true intentions, but you are throwing the emotion out there. Why won't I run? I don't know you. Like, you get, but if a man creates a safe space for you, that you open those emotions, again, you control the situation. And like, even in terms of, let's say you guys have been doing this for a while, like the way the girl said it now, like everything is perfect, everything goes well, but it's still taking this time. There's some situations, the guy will be acting like you're his babe, like you said, he might say that you might now say, I'm not your babe. Not till you tell me or ask me or something.
That's actually what I meant when I said throwing the hard questions.
So it's like, so you see what I said? It's similar to what you said, but it's just the different was that it's like, control the narrative now, because if you now then say I'm not your babe or not, I think men too, we don't have an ego. It's like, wait till it's true. In fact, let him find out that you might even have another nigga that's talking to you. What?
Yep.
So that's what I said. We're both saying the same thing. Like, it's just, again, ladies, ask the hard questions, but in the right approach.
Right.
There we go. Ask the hard questions in the right approach. Well done. The good episode. This was a good episode. Please watch the whole thing. Don't just watch the damn clips or the highlights, because I think that's the problem I have with people. They will go and say, I watched your reel, I saw the reel, and base a conversation off that. But you don't know context day that led to the points that we are. So make sure you watch the new episodes. But subscribe to all our audio channels, our Spotify, our Apple Music. Subscribe to the Menisms YouTube channel. And self-plugs. Do we have any self-plugs?
Well, except the nomination we have.
Nomination. Everybody, I hope you are surviving Lagos, because we all know what has been going on. There's strike. There's no light. But we are still going to all show up and show out somehow. Somehow. Suffering and smiling is Jesus. Anyways, I can't get into it. We're all going to make it in this country. But
yeah, so amen.
All right, guys. So until next time, we will see you guys next week. I'm Michael Shonariwo.
And I'm Muriwa Ogunkoya.
And we'll see you next time on Menisms.